Hey everybody, it's Rico Suave, and today I want to talk about cooking in your RV. Now, I'm really excited about this topic because, let's face it, I'm a chubby bunny, man. I love to eat. I'm a full-figured man, and I'm proud. So, when we're talking about food, and we're talking about making food and preparing food, in an RV, there's really only one way to do it. Most RVs are propane. Propane is very versatile. You can use propane to heat your house, you can use it to refrigerate, you can use it to cook on a stove, bake, etc. So propane is very versatile. But what happens if for some reason you're not able to resupply propane readily? Or let's just say you don't want to use propane. Well, there is a solution. It's called induction heating. And I decided to go out and get an induction hot plate, and it's revolutionized the way I cook. I'll tell you what. I mean, I love to cook. I love to eat a lot. And the reason why I chose to go with the induction hot plate is for a few reasons. The first being that compared to a normal hot plate, normal electric stove, heating element, heating source, it uses 70% less energy. That's because it conducts the heat straight into the induction friendly cooking apparatus, and we'll get into more of that here in just a second. But it's really, like I said before, it's energy efficient, and it really heats up very, very quick. I can get a pot of water boiling in just a couple minutes. A big pot boiling within just a few minutes. It's great. It's wonderful. And like I said before, it uses less power. I don't have to worry about using propane when, especially here in the wintertime, I don't want to use propane as much because, last thing I want to do is wake up with no propane, right? No heat. It's happened before. So for me, it's definitely revolutionized the way I cook. And also, it's very, very, very good when it comes to adjusting temperatures, depending on the dishes that you're trying to cook or meals you're trying to prepare. The ability to adjust temperature dramatically, quickly, is very, very important. So for me, it's great. I love it, and I'm going to keep using it, and I want to bring it to you. So we're going to go over a few things in this video. First thing we're going to go over is, what is an induction plate? What are the pros? What are the cons? We're also going to talk about how much energy it actually uses. We're going to talk about how fast it heats up, etc. So a lot of different topics and discussions are going to be brought up during the course of this video. Now, disclaimer, I'm going to tell you one of the cons right now. You have to use metal that's magnetic. Induction heating uses metal, so stainless steel is the best. There are other metals you can use, but if you have really, really expensive dishware that's made out of something that's non-metallic, non-metal, it's not going to work for your particular instance. You're going to have to either get rid of the ones you have or switch. That's really the biggest con that I think people will find. It is a little bit more pricey, but for what you're getting out of it compared to a normal hot plate, it's night and day different. So stay tuned. Let's get started. To start, we're going to see how fast we can boil a pot of water. Got our pot right here. Put it on the center. Start. So here we are, a little over 5 minutes, and as you can see, we do have a roiling boil. So some of the cons to take off. Took a little longer than expected. That might have to do with my cookware. We'll get into that in a minute. Pros. I can lift off directly, and as soon as I do, it turns off. Very power efficient. Second thing, I'm not worried about any burn. No burn concern whatsoever. Completely safe to the touch. Induction heating only. So let's continue. So for our next test, we're going to take our induction hot plate and we're going to see how well it performs with an iron skillet. So we're going to be making some chicken breasts, and we're going to fluctuate the temperatures a little bit and see how well she performs. Stay with me. So we got this thing heated up extremely quickly. Within the matter of 30 seconds, this thing's ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and add the first half of our meal, which is going to be approximately a pound of chicken breast. You can already hear she's ready to go. So we're going to let that sit for a second, and then we're going to lower the temperature, and then we're going to increase the temperature again and see how everything's going. Stay with me. So we've had it on there for about a minute now, minute and a half. So I'm going to go ahead and decrease the temperature down to about a medium low, about 175 degrees. Let's see how she reacts to that. I just got done switching them up. Instant temperature change. I could tell within 7 seconds that the temperature's decreased significantly. Even the amount of steam and stuff being put out, you can see is almost done. So let's go ahead and take it to 375, and we're gonna let it ride out. Let it ride the rest of it out like that, and see how it progresses from there. And special note, I can touch all around the burner. Can't do that with any normal stove. No problem. Also, something I found interesting, if you look at my last video about the coffee, I couldn't touch this with the propane because everything, all the metal was heated up. Here, it just seems like all the cooking action that's going on within the pot is hot. Everything else is cool to the touch. I can still manipulate this any way I want. I haven't been able to get that with any other cooking, with any other stove or hot plate, propane, barbecue, what have you. So I think that's very neat. Stay with me. So this chicken's ready to go. I'm ready to put it on a clean plate. A few things I wanted to note is just how quiet this device is. This device is extremely quiet. It's more quiet than my propane, and I'm not getting as much of that nasty smoke that I feel like I was getting with my propane stove. So those are just two things to note. Another thing is, like I said before, touch it right on the grill. Don't have to worry about burns. And even now, as I'm ready to pull this off, I can use my bare hand. It's a little hot, but it's not anything uncomfortable. So we're going to prepare that, and we're going to continue. Stay with me. So we're almost done wrapping up the cooking portion of this. We have 2 pounds of lean chicken breasts that are almost done being prepared here. This is the last of it. I've had the power monitor device that I used in my earlier videos to monitor how much power we used from this morning, boiling the water, hard boiling the eggs, to cooking the 2 pounds worth of chicken. So now what we're going to do is we're going to see how cost effective, how power efficient this machine really is. So we're going to take all that data, we're going to take all the time, all the energy used, we're going to be able to see how much it costs us to prepare the meals for today, and we're also going to see how much power it saves in the long run. So stay with me. So the cooking has been completed. Our 2 pounds of lean chicken breast has been made. It looks great, it looks wonderful. I'm very excited. Now let's look at the actual digital test. Let's see what the digital test provided us with. So let's look at the digital test now, shall we? So altogether, we used 0.77 kilowatt hours. Altogether, to prepare my meals today, which was I boiled water, and then I cooked 3 hard-boiled eggs, and then I made 2 pounds of lean chicken breast. The total cost of that was 12 cents. So for 12 cents, I was able to make all that food. Now, depending on who you are, that could be food for a couple of days. That could be food for a week, or it could be food for just a day and a half. Either way, the most important thing that I got from it was the ability to know how much power is needed to prepare that amount of food. And altogether, we have 53 minutes of total cooking time. So I was able to prepare all those meals in about an hour. Let's just call it what it is. Let's just say straight up hour. So in 1 hour, I was able to cook all that food. So that's pretty good. So that's the digital test right there. In about an hour, we used and expended 0.77 kilowatt hours for my total cost of 12 cents to prepare the meals for today. Now let's talk about the pros and cons. So let's look at the pros and cons, shall we? Let's start with the cons first. Number 1 con is you have to have induction-friendly cookware in order to use the device, plain and simple. Second con is depending on the type of metal that you use, and the thickness of that metal will greatly determine the effectiveness of heating up and cooling down. So keep that in mind when you're searching for induction hot plate. Now the pros: safety, safety, safety. Right? We all like safety. I thoroughly enjoyed the fact that as soon as I pulled the cookware from the surface of the device, cooking stopped. No cooking, so that's good. Also, I'm able to touch the surface of it while I'm boiling water or cooking chicken breast or whatever I'm cooking, and it's not going to burn me because why? Induction. It only is going to induct through the metal, right? So unless you're the Winter Soldier, you don't have to worry about that heating up on you. Other pros I liked about it was obviously we saw the power efficiency of it, the ability to cook lots of food and be able to have that thing on for as long as we did, and have as small of power requirement as needed. So that's good because if you're looking for a way to cook still and not have to have tons and tons of power, the induction would be the way to go. Other pros that I liked about it, let's move back to safety. The fact that I can touch the handle even after cooking for as long as I did, and I can still touch the handle and move the pot from place to place without having to wear a mitten. That's another good thing. I like the fact that the smoke didn't seem as bad as all compared to my propane. Cleanup was a lot easier. Another great feature is I can determine the temperature that I want it to be on. So there's no guesswork. There's no, should I have it on 6? Should I have it on 5? Should I have it on 7? There's no guesswork because you set the device to where you want it. You set the temperature to where you want. And that's great. That's fantastic. It takes all the guesswork out of where the heat needs to be. The ability to go up in temperature and go down in temperature happens instantaneously. As soon as you make that adjustment, the induction heating starts going. It's great, it's wonderful, it's revolutionized the way that I cook, and I'm going to be using the induction plate permanently now. No doubt about it. It definitely gives more power to the user, you, me, etc. And it's definitely great, power effective. The only other thing that you might have is just the startup cost. Yes, the startup cost is a lot higher. These induction heating plates are 2.5 to 3 times more expensive than a traditional hot plate. However, if you're really looking at it from a money sense and you're really going to be something you're really going to be using, it's going to pay for itself in your power bill. It's going to pay for itself in how much energy and power is required, the price of that power. So for me, if you're at all looking into the future, it's going to save you money in the long term versus for the higher startup cost. So for me, it's a great device. I'm glad that I got it. I'm glad that now I have another means to cooking. So can I use my propane? Yes. Can I use my induction plate? Yes. If I need to go outside and rough it because both failed me, can I still use a fire? Yes. So the ability to have 3 different ways of cooking food is very, very important. It's very, very important for that peace of mind portion. And remember I said peace of mind is not something that can be bought. It's something that is sought after. It's something that is forged. It's something that is wanted. So keep that in mind. Hope you found the review helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment or send me a personal message, PM me. Also, if you have any words of advice, wisdom, I would love to hear it. Please feel free to share that with me. Like I said before, I'm learning every day, and I always like to learn new things. So thank you for watching the review, and as always, long live the Republic.